What's going on, guys? Unknown Player here, and today once again we're going to be taking a look at the new prison bosses for the week in the Challenge of the Elders. So their mechanics, the modifiers, and my best strategies and exotics to do so and get as many points and score as possible on those Elder sigils. So once you grab your new sigil, you'll find the modifiers this week are pretty simple and pretty straightforward. So the first one is fresh troops. This means that some enemy squads have been fortified with additional reinforcements. Now, I personally didn't even notice this. I'm not even sure what rounds or what enemies were additional, because to me it seemed completely normal and I didn't notice any difference at all. But apparently fresh troops is a modifier. I didn't notice it personally. Let me know in the comment section if you actually noticed what waves are different, because apparently there's supposed to be more enemies, but I personally didn't notice anything. It seemed exactly the same to me, so it's really nothing to worry about. And if anything, if there is more reinforcements, that means there's more points to get, so that would be a good thing. But again, I don't really notice it, so not really too much to worry about with that modifier. The next one is Juggler, and this means there'll be no ammo drops for your equipped weapon. So the weapon, most of your primary weapon that you're holding most of the time, that is not going to drop any ammo. So the enemies will not drop those primary boxes, and they'll only drop either special or heavy. And if you have a heavy weapon, they're going to drop primary or special. So you're not going to get ammo drops for your equipped weapon. And another one, I didn't really notice this either. It seemed like it never really happened too much, and I never once ran out of ammo ever with my primary. I know it happens a lot in Nightfalls when you run out of ammo because of Juggler, but personally, again, I didn't notice this, so I guess it's kind of straightforward and pretty smooth sailing for this modifier. The final one is a precision kill bonus, and this means, of course, bonus points for any precision kill, so make sure you get those belly shots on the Vex or headshots on any other enemy, and that's going to get you as many points as possible. So let's go over the bosses, their mechanics and how to defeat them, and also my exotic recommendations on what to use and how best to go about the strategy. So the first one is the Wretched Knight. This guy can take a load of damage. He's really not easy to flinch, and he can just take like 5 sniper shots to the head, and he won't even stun back. He is really tanky and takes a lot of damage. So what his mechanic does is he'll basically summon these bombs around the map momentarily after damage phases tend to be in between the reinforcement rounds. He's basically going to summon those taken blights that spawn those little proximity grenades, where if you walk near them, they're going to detonate. Don't do too much damage, it isn't really a big deal to watch out for. Their main purpose is to make sure you aren't camping and retreating in the safest corners, because the safest areas in this arena tend to be where they spawn the most. They're basically a deterrent to make sure you aren't camping and you're always thinking on your feet and moving around the arena. Honestly, I just detonate them myself. I just stand near them and then stand in the corner and make sure they go off, but they're not really too big a deal. They don't do too much damage, but the only time they can catch you out is if you're not prepared for them and they spawn and suddenly you're trapped in a load of binds and they can do a lot of damage. So all in all, not really a big deal, but sometimes can get a little bit annoying. The next boss is Kexus Betrayed. We've seen him the last 3 or 4 weeks, so I'm sure you guys know the deal already. This guy will sometimes summon those draining light bombs, the same as the King's Fall raid, and what you need to do is step inside them and make sure they don't detonate, and it'll kind of diffuse them. And if they do detonate, they'll kind of take away a little bit of your super and also suppress you a little bit. Not really a big deal and not really too much to worry about. But again, this guy's a relatively easy boss, probably one of the easier ones, and as long as you keep your distance from him, you've really got nothing to worry about. Now, the final boss is pretty interesting. This guy's the Overmind Minotaur, which had a while back. This guy is going to detain you every now and again, which can get a little bit annoying from time to time, but nowhere near as annoying as the Seditious Mind with his kind of bombs and all the taken Vex everywhere. This guy is pretty easy in comparison. So this is just normal Vex, of course. What he's going to do every now and again is try and spot you, and if you're in his line of sight, in his actual vision, then he's going to detain you in that Atheon type shield, and you need to break out of it by shooting it a bunch with some kind of high impact weapon. I was using my new full auto Stolen Will, which is a taken shotgun, and this thing just destroyed the shields. It melted through them, so a really handy secondary, and I wouldn't recommend using your primary weapon because mainly, like I said, it's got Juggler, so that's going to really rinse your ammo, and after a while you might notice you're running out. So I'd keep that primary ammo and save either a heavy or a special for trying to break out the shields, but generally it's a pretty easy fight. The only thing to watch out for is that you aren't jumping or in midair or moving really fast when he does that detain shield, or make sure you're not going near him when he does a little scream and you know he's about to spot people. Because if you do, you're going to be detained and you'll actually fall right through it, and then you'll be out of the shield, and if you're out of the shield, then it will instantly kill you. So that is definitely something to watch out for. Make sure you aren't moving fast or jumping when he actually spots people, because that can catch you out sometimes and get you killed. So in terms of exotics and weapons I'd recommend for this, the first one I'd say is No Time to Explain. One of my personal favourite weapons. I love how it looks and how it performs, and this is essentially like a black spindle but in a primary weapon. And with the precision bonus modifier, you're going to get loads of points just by aiming those headshots, and this thing is full auto. You can just hold the trigger and make sure you're getting those headshots, and every bullet that hits a precision area, that's going to get refunded right back to the magazine. So it's a really fun weapon to use. It's full auto, just hold down the trigger and just make sure you're aiming for the head, and of course that's going to rack up your points even faster. And also it's good for shooting the bosses. If you need a little bit of damage to try and whittle their health down and spawn the next wave of reinforcements, this is a good way to do so. And of course it isn't going to expend most of your ammo, because with that Juggler modifier, it's going to make sure you're losing a lot of ammo quickly. So I think this might be the reason why I was noticing that I wasn't losing ammo, simply because most of the bullets were going right back to magazine. That's again why I would highly recommend the No Time to Explain. You're never going to notice that Juggler modifier as long as you're accurate and getting those headshots. The main downfall of the No Time to Explain that I found was in the Vex round, because it is really hard to aim for those Vex bellies, and often with the recoil of the No Time to Explain, which isn't a massive amount but is enough, it will kind of jump up and it can make things a little bit difficult to actually aim for that belly, which is why I'd also recommend scout rifles, which brings me on to my next weapon that I'd recommend, and this is the Jade Rabbit. If you have one of these things, it's a fantastic weapon. If you chain a couple body shots together and hit the body a few times, that's going to mean the next time you hit a precision shot, that's going to do bonus damage and give the ammo right back to the magazine. So it's a really helpful weapon and quite similar to the No Time to Explain in the sense of getting ammo back to the magazine. So definitely one I'd recommend. And then in general, if you don't have either of those, I'd just recommend general scout rifles. One that I used for a couple rounds was the Hung Jury from the Taken King, the classic gold roll one with triple tap and firefly. This thing is just a monster, but you definitely want to stay away from most pulse rifles and also auto rifles. They're not going to be accurate enough. You want to make sure you're getting those headshots for as many points as possible. So this week's been a little bit different in terms of the challenge. It's not really been too complicated or fixate around certain playstyle. You just simply need to make sure you're accurate with weapons, but in general it's been very straightforward and pretty simple in terms of bosses, mechanics and strategies. So leave a comment down below, what do you think about this week's challenge of the Elders? Have you completed it? What do you think about it so far? If you want to drop a like rating on the video, that'd be awesome. Subscribe for more videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.